Yeehaw! It's the Denver Bronco Roundup. Well, good evening, Broncos fans. It's Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. It's the Denver Bronco Roundup. Should have done a mic check before I blew your ears out. Thank you very much. We're brought to you by the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. Head on over to Rocky Mountain Sports Network. They're available on Facebook. They're available on YouTube. They're available on the World Wide Web as well. So check them out. I was going to throw up a couple of banners real quick. We do have... Obviously, go check them out over on RockyMountainSN.com. You'll find everything going on there. Of course, over on Facebook as well. You can find them in the groups. But enough about Rocky Mountain Sports Network. I'm going to welcome in the judge, Jody Moncrief. How you doing, Jody, man?
What's up, everyone? Doing good.
Doing good, man. Well, we are -1 this evening. Everybody, I know the fan base is probably just going to plummet, man, because Dutchie isn't here. Mr. Albert Knoppers, isn't able to make it. He's moving into his Wilson, Mick Wilson mansion, I could say, or something like that. The Mini-Me mansion, Wilson mansion, something like that. But no, he's moving into his new place, but not really set up on internet as of yet. So we'll get Dutchie back next week. I know myself, man. I'm ran ragged. My shirt's about falling off of me, I swear, man. So ran ragged this week, man. I feel like a rookie who maybe is going through his first OTAs. I feel like I'm a little overwhelmed as we head into this week, man. I think I counted up. I think it's 28 days in a row I've been working straight. So, and that's not including this, guys. So, just been running, and it's starting to get warm around here too, Jody. How's your week been?
Busy with work, kids with t-ball, house getting the yard fixed up.
Oh yeah, that time of year.
That time of the year, yep.
Yeah, that time of year for the yard. How's the kid in T-ball doing, man?
She's doing good. She's catching on quick, so she's enjoying it. So that's all that matters right now.
That is the most important thing, man. It's all about the fun, man. If it's not fun, especially when they're young, good luck on getting them hooked, right?
Yep.
Gotta have a little bit of fun,
Definitely.
Man. Well, man, me and you, man, maybe we'll be able to debate it out. Sent out the ad, man. This week's topic, as we're kind of going through all the different position groups. Geez, what have we went through so far? We went through a little bit of O-line. Hit the wide receiver group. So kind of work on that offensive side of the ball. Jody's the one who's been kind of setting this up. I think he's going to clean sweep it, I think, on the offense before we head over to the defense. This week, it's all about the running backs, right, Jody?
Yes, sir.
It's all about the running backs. There's been a lot of focus, obviously. We talked about it when it came to the offensive line, the investments that they made. They went out, they made sure that they were going to have the ability to run the ball with a running back because they went, honestly, probably bigger than anybody in this offseason in regards to their offensive line. A much needed improvements needed along that offensive line. We got to hear a little bit from Ben Powers this week as well. He said he was really excited about working with Garrett Bowles. Says he really likes this guy and is excited to work with him. So that's a big thing too. So once again, this offensive line unit seems primed. Unfortunately, we do have a running back that's coming back from injury. We would love to be in the catbird seat with a fantastic running back coming off a fantastic season. That's not really what we have. Last year really was a split between two guys, right?
Yeah,
And both of those guys aren't really on the roster.
Are gone.
Those guys are gone. One Melvin Gordon, one Latavius Murray, and
Who's with Buffalo now? Yep.
yeah, one that we all wanted back, and one that we couldn't. Most of us couldn't wait to see gone quicker. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
head us off into 2023, Jody. What do we got going in this running back room? What do you like, and how do you think we start stacking up? I'll let you take the mic for a little bit here, bud.
It was pretty obvious right away in free agency. Denver went out and addressed this line. Went out and probably got the best left guard in free agency, who is a dominant run blocker. And the same with Mike McGlinchey, dominant run blocker, right tackle. And then a couple days later, they went out and got Samaje Perine from Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
A great third down back for him. Catches the ball out of the backfield really well. And picked up Tony Jones Jr., who played with the Saints, so he knows his offense. And then you have the wild card, Javonte Williams, coming off this injury.
Yep.
But from all reports and the little clips you get here and there, he's practicing. They're saying he's cutting off the knee already. I mean, this is 8 months.
Yep.
Still another, 2 month and a half probably till OTA start or till training camp starts.
Yep.
So, I mean, with a hurt Javonte like that, I thought that they were going to maybe address us a little more, but they may have confidence that come week 1, he's maybe not full go, but he's ready to go. And you can lean on Perine for a couple games till he's back, till Javonte's 100% back.
Yep.
And then you get rumors of, if he's not back, do they wait till Minnesota cuts Dalvin Cook? Do they go sign?
Boy, you're letting all the cats out the bag, man. Oh man.
Do they go sign? The running back from Cleveland. His name is escaping me. Cleveland, Kansas City.
Kareem Hunt.
Mr.
I guess. Kareem Hunt. Yeah.
I didn't realize it, but I guess he just worked with this coaching staff. So there's some other options there. I would say that they're more confident in it than the outside is, because they yesterday, I guess, released Damari Crockett and signed a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So that drops them down to 4. A hurt Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine, Tony Jones Jr., and Tyler Brady, who had 1 carry last year, 1 catch for a touchdown.
You got one more, man. Jaleel McLaughlin.
Oh, and Jaleel McLaughlin, you're right. The undrafted
free agent. Yep.
So
for me, I look at this and, there's a couple things we do need to look at. Like I said, we have completely moved on from anything that really resembled our running game last year. Not only does our offensive line look different, but our running backs aren't even in the room. When it comes to Samaje Perine, he hasn't been asked to be that number 1 back as of yet. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Perine fan. Oh, and by the way, Roy's coming in here, and Roy Osborne's coming in. He's saying, I'm big into cornhole, and I'm getting 3 big tournaments plus work, so I know what it's like to be running my butt off, man. Yeah, it seems like we all have our times, man. Sounds like me and Roy are definitely having our times. Jody's not getting the light end of the stick either, man. So, Roy, I appreciate you not only going out there and setting up tournaments, doing all your work, but hey, joining the Denver Bronco Roundup here on Tuesday night. So, man, I really appreciate you jumping in here, man. Really appreciate it. So, yeah, I mean, we're asking Perine to be, someone new in this offense. Like I said, I'm big on him. I think he's capable. I think he's sat behind guys like Joe Mixon, and he hasn't got an opportunity as of yet. And I think he's fresh, and I think he'll come out here and he'll surprise a lot of people. That being said, he hasn't been asked to carry the load for 17 games. We want Javonte back. Javonte, if he comes back, would be honestly, automatically, it would have to be thought of as one of the. If he starts week one, don't you think that he would automatically have to be the leading candidate for comeback player of the year? I mean, just out of the gate. I mean, just because of what he overcame. I don't care if the guy goes out there and puts up 46 yards in game one. If he goes out there and puts up 46 yards, he's already leading candidate for. But that's a lot to ask.
Yeah, I'll have to look. I seen Deron Hammond from
Damar Hamlin.
Damar Hamlin, sorry, from Buffalo was, and then Russell Wilson was 2. Those were the 2 I've seen. I didn't see Javonte Williams.
That's amazing. But digressing from there, I'll be honest, I haven't looked up a whole lot of Tony Jones Jr., but at the same time, I don't remember hearing Tony Jones Jr. lighting up anything at any time. I don't remember watching or hearing Tony Jones Jr. highlights. Tyler Beatty, he came out and he had a couple of good plays, but honestly, he doesn't have a whole lot of experience. Who knows how it translates now into this next year? And Jaleel McLaughlin is probably the standout as of right now because of what he did, quote unquote, in OTAs, because it's all not in pads. We haven't seen anything truly hit the field. It's just getting to know the system. How do you feel about this running back room as it sits right now? If it didn't get changed, there was no other additions to this room, how are you feeling? We talked tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. I'll even ask you this. How do you feel we rank among the AFC West?
So I guess I kind of have a long-winded answer.
Well, that's okay. We're used to that, Judge. And we got a little bit more time because unfortunately, we don't have Albert here, but it does allow us to go back and forth a little bit. So take it away, buddy. What are you thinking?
I'm excited for Perine. I mean, he should be fresh. He didn't get a lot of carries last year. All reports great out of the backfield, catching the ball. Great pass blocker as well. And Denver went out right away. I mean, there were plenty of running backs on the market. Murray was there still. They went right after Perine right away. Tony Jones Jr. I mean, I'm a huge Notre Dame fan. He was electric at Notre Dame, but really has not done anything in the NFL to speak high of. I think he's more of a special teams guy you can rely on. And the wild card for me is Javonte Williams. Is he healthy? Is he not healthy?
Yep.
But from all reports, they have done nothing to address that position. And if you are going to be a run-heavy team, you would think that you need a legit running back. So, to me, one of two things. Either they are really sold on Perine to carry the load if Williams is not back,
okay,
or they have a lot of confidence that Javonte Williams, although may not be back 100% week one, can maybe 30-70 with Perine until he's back.
Very good.
I
gotta ask you this really quick. Percentage chance that we bring another top running back in. I mean, yeah, we'll always bring probably a body in. We'll probably fill it out on the roster. Guys will come and go. You know what I mean? Bottom end guys.
Right.
But I'm talking, that Kareem Hunt, that Dalvin Cook, that Ezekiel Elliott. Those type of top tier. What's the likelihood that the Broncos bring it in? What's the percentage chance, buddy?
Now I would say probably almost zero.
Okay.
I think as you get more into training camp and maybe an injury happens or something, and then we see where Javonte Williams is. I mean, if all reports are he's cutting and he's pretty much doing everything in practice, I would, unless you can pick up somebody like if Dalvin Cook gets cut or even like
Mhm.
Kareem Hunt on a cheap deal, I just think those running backs. I think Kareem Hunt is just waiting for the injury in training camp or
Mm,
something, and then he'll go get paid. And I think Dalvin Cook still, if he's released, will get more than what Denver's willing to pay.
okay. Very good. Very good. I got to give a shout out. We've already had Roy come in here, join the show. We appreciate him. But we also got the amazing, amazing Kenny Kirkpatrick coming in saying, best Broncos talk on earth. Evening, fellas. Evening to you, Kenny. Check out Kenny over on the K&K Sports Show. If you haven't checked those guys out, they have just been burning it up. They're big into into baseball right now. They're big into. They got a guy that comes on that has got some hockey talk, and I forget his name. I apologize, Kenny, but man, is he lights out? He knows his stuff. Obviously, NBA action. So those guys on the East Coast, unfortunately, maybe a little bit happy about maybe what happened in the Nuggets and Miami Heat game. But I'll tell you what, they're struggling as Yankees fans out there. But like I said, they check it all out. They talk all sports. So check them out, guys. K&K Sports Show. And hey, he's saying Kenny's jumping in. Rudy. He has the week off, of course. Ha ha ha. Kenny's also jumping in, and it looks like he's giving Albert a little bit of ration, I guess. So he says, I heard Albert was asked asking invited to OTAs by Alexander Madison, and he heard they are enjoying some juicy Lucy burgers. Ha ha ha. Love you, Albert, and miss you. See you next week. Very good, bud. Um, no, one of the questions I asked, and I want to press you on this one more time, man. Where do we rank among the AFC West? And just to remind you, and I'll go through it real quick, Josh Jacobs led the NFL in rushing last year. He is, I guess, still under contract with the Las Vegas Raiders. I was trying to go through all my Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders, and not they have Amir Abdullah behind them. They have Brandon Bolden behind them as well. Head over to the Chiefs, obviously, and since they the Super Bowl winning Chiefs, Isaiah Pacheco, Jerick McKinnon is their backup. And then the Chargers did come to an agreement with Austin Eckler. They also have Isaiah Spiller and Joshua Kelly behind them as well. So that being said, how do you think that Javonte, Perine, Tony Jones Jr., Tyler Beatty, Jaleel McLaughlin pair up against the AFC West? And then we can start talking, how do we look against all of the AFC as well?
I'll give two answers. With a healthy Javonte Williams, I think you're right up there. The way you improve this O line, and the kind of runner we know he is. He led the NFL, I think, his rookie year in broken tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, and I'd put him bottom tier one with a healthy Javonte Williams, and then Samaje Perine, he is a legit number two. If Javonte Williams is not healthy, I'm not really sure what grade to give him because I don't know what kind of runner you're going to get from Samaje being the bell cow.
Hmm.
So I would, if you pressed me on a grade, probably lower tier 2, but that could go up. I mean, Samaje might be. I mean, look at all the running backs Denver had in the early 2000s, Orlando Gary and Mike Anderson and all them guys that no one knew anything about in 1,000-yard rushers. So he might be the next that jumps off the chart.
And that's an interesting point. And Roy's jumping in too. He's saying he's kind of agreeing with you. And I would say he says without seeing them on the field, I would say second or third in the conference. And I would have to agree. I mean, it's really tough to say Josh Jacobs isn't going to be in contention. He was number one in the league last year.
And it's not just rushing yards for me. It's look at Austin Eckler, for example. I mean, he can do it all. He catches the ball out of the backfield, loads of catches. So I
think that it really depends on your style of offense.
Correct. Yep.
You know, and what scheme you're going after. You know, if Josh McDaniels is going to mimic a lot of what we saw in New England, then yeah, they do have that third down back that catches a lot of balls out of the backfield. It's not how they really utilized Josh Jacobs last year, though. Not at all. So, you know, maybe this is Josh McDaniels, you know, iteration of what he feels it is. But, you know, you look over at, you know, you look at Kansas City, you look at the Chargers and what they're doing, and yeah, you definitely get that feel of you know, that all around type of back, though. I would agree there.
Yeah, the longer that this goes and the longer they don't address it, I think either they look to get someone on the cheap that's probably asking too much right now, like a Kareem Hunt or somebody like that, or they have a lot of confidence that Samaje can hold the fort down for a couple weeks, and Javonte's a lot closer than the media and we all are led to believe.
So the one thing I would say is you're kind of sliding completely backwards against what the media immediately thought when Brandon McManus got cut. Everyone and Sean Payton was kind of asked about it, and you know, he talked a lot about, you know, gaining more cap space and people come and go, and you want to make sure that you're sitting right at the right times, and a lot of people automatically jump to this is a move for Dalvin Cook. This is why we get rid of a kicker who was still one of the best in the league, you know, and get him off of our roster, you know, to the point that we have a guy named Fry, I guess, that might be our kicker at this point, maybe not. But that being said, you do not feel like Dalvin Cook is in play. You do not feel like that was a move in order to try to free up the space in order to make a run at a guy like Dalvin Cook.
No, because I feel even if he is released, I feel that he's gonna want more than Denver's willing to pay.
Yeah,
and Denver is in.
Why would he feel that way though, man? And no running back is getting paid right now.
No, but I still feel like he can go on the market. What's he getting, like 16 or something? I feel like he can get 5, 6, 7 on the market right now. And
so where does that leave the other guys in? Where does that leave a Hunt? Where does that leave a Ezekiel Elliott?
See, that's why I think Hunt, and especially Hunt, is just waiting for some dominoes to fall. Maybe an injury to
but you don't only want to wait so long, man. I mean,
you're
not the bell cow, man. You're
gonna. I mean, if you're gonna take a low deal, you might as well wait as long as you can to see if you can get paid.
Yeah,
and I think that's something that he might be waiting for. The Cook thing is just weird to me. I mean, I still think that he's a top 5 to 8 running back in the NFL, and although he is getting paid a lot of money, I mean, he still is a top running back. And so if I was to guess, they'll come to some kind of agreement. he will get released.
Hmm.
I just think that for Denver, this comes down to they feel Javonte Williams is a lot further along than what everyone is led to believe, and what you hear that the injury
It'd be
not
amazing,
only
man.
was it an ACL, it was PCL and whatever
MCL.
else, MCL and all this. I mean, 8 months and he's already on the field. Reports are he was cutting and running routes. Maybe he has some of that Wolverine blood. I don't know.
Something's going on, man. A lot of those guys like to head overseas, get a little bit different treatment
I mean,
sometimes.
I'll pull it up real quick. The year, Adrian Peterson.
You pull that up. I'm gonna hit a comment from Kenny, and I'll let you hit that, K Bud. Kenny comes in and he says, "I think Denver will be honestly somewhere between 15 and 20 in rushing this year. If Javonte comes back closer to 15, his injury usually takes 2 years to recover 100%, and that's something to be said. Some of these guys come out there, he may be like a 70, 80% type of guy this first year until he really gets that feel for it, gets that season underneath him, comes back the next year having a little bit of an off season, and comes back in year two and really feels like he's 100%. He also just wanted to add in, he says, that being said, passing could be closer to top 10 this year. So, man, we go out, we build up the offensive line. Kenny believes, 15 to 20, maybe 15 if Javonte comes back pretty healthy, but he's projecting top 10 as far as that passing game is concerned. That kind of again goes against the grain. Everyone's going against the grain. Jody doesn't think Dalvin Cook's coming, and quite honestly, I think a lot of people are thinking the running game is going to be the strong point. But Kenny's coming in here and saying, don't think this is going to be the running game. Watch out for that passing game. You were going to talk about Adrian Peterson real quick, Jody. Why don't you go ahead and hit us with
one
that?
other thing on this running game? I look for Russ to run the ball this year, and I wouldn't be surprised at the end of the season Russ has 400 to 500 rushing yards. At the end of the season, I expect Russ to I expect Peyton to get him to get the ball out of his hands quick. If not, he's going to get out of the pocket, and if it's not their run, we're not just going to stand there and wait 20 seconds. If you can run and get 3 or 4 yards and slide, do so.
That's interesting because
do not take sacks.
Just really quick, I would say, what Russ was really known for, especially in Seattle, is that, the avoid moon ball, catch that guy, deep. And
I think you'll see some of that, but I think the stuff that you've seen last year, him standing in the pocket, no one open, or him choosing not to throw to somebody and just waiting for that deep route to get there or whatever, as Sean Payton is going to have that ingrained that in about 4 seconds, if you don't have something and you've rolled out and it's not there, run, use your legs, you've slimmed down, you're back to the old Russ, weight-wise and speed-wise. Use your legs. That's what made you great.
Yep. Roy's just jumping in and saying, I'm with the judge, Mr. Jody. Don't think Dalvin Cook is going to Denver. So maybe I was barking up the wrong media tree. I don't know, man. I was hanging out underneath the tree with Mike Kliss, maybe, hanging out on the corner in the dark. You wanted to talk about Adrian Peterson. You still wanted to hit that?
I just after his ACL, he pretty much missed the whole season. He started one game, missed the whole 2014 season, came back in 2015, started all 16 games, 327 carries, 1,485 yards, and 11 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just straight ACL. But, I mean...
That was also what year?
To 2015.
2015. We're only talking 8 years worth of progress in medicine.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say... I mean, you can go back and look at Bronco fans, look at Terrell Davis. He was never the same after that injury.
Mm-hmm.
And then look at Adrian Peterson, 1485, Uh, then he kind of started dipping off a little bit. But I mean, the year after his injury, he was put up huge numbers. If you get almost 1,500 yards from Javonte Williams and 11 touchdowns,
Oh my goodness.
I would. And someone said, "Would you take that or would you risk it?" I'll bank on that right now and say, "I don't. We don't need any more."
Yeah,
That
well,
would be
yeah.
incredible,
Well, Dalvin Cook would be a wasted asset if he was on
right?
the if he was on this roster and he goes for 1,500 yards. Um, uh, got Leanna jumping in, and Leanna's my sister, so she's saying best coverage of the ins and outs of all things Broncos. And thank you, sis, by the way. And I owe you a phone call, and I know that. So thanks for jumping in here. As I'm on doing Broncos coverage, I owe you a phone call. I should be talking to you. Kenny's jumping in saying Peyton had Breeze, though pocket passer, above average vet wide receiver, and a sleeper rookie wide receiver. Watch out. Um, yeah, agreed. Though he was a pocket passer, he had those same tools, those same pieces, the same ingredients for the recipe to really cook things up. You know, it would be really interesting to see because we haven't seen a whole lot of that where Peyton has dialed up a running game out of his quarterback. You know, outside of maybe a Taysom Hill, which I don't think you're utilizing anybody but Taysom Hill, like Taysom Hill, maybe Tim Tebow, and that's about it. You know, so I don't think it's the same. I don't think you'd see the same schematic that you would see from a Taysom Hill that you would automatically duplicate with a Russell Wilson per se.
See, and that's where I go back, and not to get deep into Russell, but if Drew, Russell Wilson, I think it was coaching last year to me because when he was missing wide receivers, it wasn't because he was throwing the ball bad or anything else. And so I think when he gets coached into his, here's the guy, here's 1, 2, 3, throw it or run. I don't think Hackett was doing any of that. It was Russ. We've seen what you've done for 10 years. Do what you got to do, make big plays. And
Yeah, honestly, I think it was the most ill-conceived offense ever put together. Nathaniel Hackett and Russ kind of came together in putting that together, in putting that offense, that the whole idea, the whole philosophy, was those two melding their ideas together.
but what was
But
frustrating
but
last year too is we're supposed to be a wide run team, and
uh,
we never ran wide.
there were so many things I heard about what our offense was supposed to be that never, ever, ever came to fruition. I remember being so excited hearing you'll never know what's going to hit you because we have so many options out of the same exact set. No, I saw the exact same things being ran out of the exact same sets over and over and over again. So yeah, we weren't a wide zone scheme. We didn't play anything, and the excuse was injuries are making us play this way. Injuries are making us play this way. But at some point, you have to dictate what you're doing to the defense. It's something that it's probably one of the biggest things that we've seen that we're going to gain because of our coaching staff that has been brought in, led by the one and only Sean Payton, and trickling down from there.
See, and I
Um,
think there's a lot more to it than if you take the Colts game when Denver went for two. Oh, he just missed a wide open catch at Hamler. Well, he did, but was he? He didn't even look over there. If you watch that play, he didn't even.
Little frozen Jody, man. I don't know if we're gonna fully get him back because that's a pretty bad
There we
freeze
go.
right there.
If
Oh,
if
yeah.
Hamler is designed to get wide open like that, and Russ just doesn't even look that way, something didn't mesh at all. So the whole thing didn't work. So I think with
Jody,
coaching and Sean
at any
Payton,
point did you ever really feel like as our offense took the field that things were going well, that things were meshing, that things were I don't know in sync,
never.
that things felt like they kept progressing, that we ever dictated? None of this ever happened last year. We didn't. I'm so excited for what we're getting in Sean Payton as a head coach. Like you said, hey, Sean Payton is going to tell Russ, hey, this is how our system works, and this is where you go, and this is where you don't go, and this is, and then run if you need to. No, Sean Payton will just have a system in place that automatically has success and a thought process of behind it that
Right.
I don't think we had at all last year. I did just want to jump up and jump up this comment from Kenny. He says, remember, you have to pay KC the Chargers. That's 4 times this year. You're not beating them by running the ball and scoring 20 points, in my opinion. No, you're not going to beat them that way, man. But I think there's something to be said about, setting up the pass. And I do agree that I think we'll have some big opportunities in the passing game, and we need to take advantage of those opportunities because those opportunities will either put us in field goal position or put us touchdowns on the board. But or put us in position to put a touchdown on the board because we'll have those big plays. We just got to take advantage of those. I think the running game is still going to set it up. I think we're still going to dictate through the running game. And because of that, I just don't know if we'll elevate all the way to a top 10 passing offense. And because I think that I actually have a better possibility of being higher than a 15th or 16th ranked running offense as well. I think that we could be kind of flipped in those regards. But that's just me. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to be able to put up big points through the air. There's nothing more exciting. I don't know if that's the way that we're going to be trending, but we'll see. I'd love to. As long as we're winning, I don't care which way it's going, buddy.
See, and they work hand to hand. If you can keep the ball going and keep drives going on third down, and you're completing passes and different things, then you keep the defense on their heels, and they're locked in on wide receivers, and then you can run the ball, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. It just never messed last year, and Peyton knows how to sync it up. I'm not denying Nathaniel Hackett drew up plays that got wide receivers open and did different things. It's just they never played off of each other. Let's run the ball to set something up or do anything. And all anyone wants to pick out is, well, look at this play. This dude was wide open and Russ missed him. Well, that's not where Russ is looking. So either that's on Russ or either that's on coaching. Mm-hmm. Somewhere there's a disconnect. And it doesn't really matter whose fault it was. That's something I don't see Peyton letting happen.
It is kind of amazing at times that, he didn't see, or we didn't see more completions later. As long as he held the ball, it was amazing that the guys didn't get open or that was the case. And then at other times, you had open guys that he wasn't able to hit. Like you said, it's just a complete offense that's out of sync. Quarterback isn't seeing what the coach is trying to put on the field, and the coach isn't seeing what the quarterback is seeing on the field. They never got in sync with each other to where they could put a game plan together to where, the Broncos look successful for consecutive series in a football game. That's going to change. We have
when
one of the
Russ
best
was
in the
at
business.
his best, he had an elite running game. And
to be honest, you look at any quarterback.
Look at John Elway.
Exactly. Look at John Elway.
His best, I wouldn't say his best years, but his most successful winning games and stuff when they got Terrell Davis.
And if you want to go in that same era, Dan Marino, how many Super Bowls did he win? And who were his running backs? Never had a big running back that he could just hand the ball off to and guarantee that he could get some yards. Didn't happen for him. Had to wait till Terrell Davis got to Broncos country before it happened for John Elway. They go hand in hand, man. That running game and that passing game will always play off each other. It's amazing where the running back market has fallen, but I digress. I do want to keep this. We're at 7 minutes 40 or at 7:40. We've been going for about 40 minutes. We got about 20 minutes left, buddy. Go to our last little bit of a topic, and this might even
I have
And
one
so,
last thing on the running backs, real quick.
yeah, go
Week
ahead, buddy.
week one, is Javonte Williams starting week one? If not, is he playing? Does he dress week one?
I'll say he dresses week one. I think that would just be huge for him to go out onto the field. But
I'll
I
agree
would
with that.
but I don't want him to start. And we got our good friend. We got multiple people chiming in all of a sudden. We got Matt Staffiero jumping in and saying no, and Leanna as well. Um, but she says yes, he dresses. He's not going to be starting.
If he's
Uh,
cleared for contact before week one, then in my opinion, I don't see any benefits of continuing just to wait to say, hey, you missed 3 or 4 games, because he's going to be non-contact until he gets into a game. So if he's 100% cleared by week one, I think you see him week one. Now, I think he'll be on load management, but he definitely will play.
I'd love to see it, man. Like I said, I think you had to elevate a guy who has two completely torn ligaments, and a third partially torn ligament, come all the way back and start in week one. He's got to be up there for comeback pet player of the year. And JC Weaver jumping in and saying, LFG, you guys excited for that championship swag to finally hit the Broncos next year? Who will be our starting week one starting running back, man? You name it, man. Is it Javonte, buddy? Hey, do you think he makes it all the way back?
I think Javonte, I don't know that
Mm.
he's not gonna get full workload, but just to get him out there, get that first hit on him, I think would be big, even if
Can
Perine
you
is your bell cow for 3 or 4 weeks.
Can you imagine if he gets, like, let's just say he gets 4 carries in the first game, but he's the handoff for the first game for the first play,
What
Javonte
would be
Williams.
awesome is Javonte up the middle for about 50 or
No, it'd be
all
great
the
if
way or something.
he pulled off a
Like
big one,
that.
but I guarantee if he goes out there and you see Javonte lined up back there and he gets the ball, if he gets 2.5 yards, that place is still going to be ecstatic that he went out there and got 2.5 yards. So
Now, if he is cleared 100% and goes out there and takes a shot the wrong way or something and gets hurt again or sets him back, will you say Sean Payton rushed him if he's 100% clear
if he's 100% clear and I'm sorry, and he gets injured,
and he takes a shot the wrong way and it
mm,
maybe doesn't completely injure him but sets him back or something, will you
no,
say
no.
they rushed him?
I mean, especially in a full off season, you're not in the mid season. You have every opportunity leading up to that first game to say, no, I don't think so. We're not going to start yet. Love to do it. There's no pressure. There's no pressure to start him week one. I mean, I know that maybe pressure from him. Maybe he's, chomping at the bit to get out there, which I'm sure he would be. But at the same time, there's no pressure. It's not like you've lost 3 games and you need that guy to come out there. It's nothing like that.
Right.
It's so. No, I don't think that, he goes out there, he's fully cleared. He was able to go out there, he gets injured. It happens, man. Sometimes it happens to that guy that you never thought it was going to happen to, who looked healthy and didn't have an injury history in the past, and he goes out week one. So, past can't always predict the future. Um, that being said, I'm going to say that Perine's the starter week one. I would love Javonte to come all the way back. Hope I'm wrong, man. Because if Javonte is back, then it does clear all my confusion around this running back room. It doesn't look that strong to me, man. If Javonte's injured and he's not coming back and he's not close to 100%, it really starts to fall off after that. Tony Jones Jr. and Tyler Beatty are not my 2 favorite guys. Jaleel McLaughlin had an amazing college career, and he's supposed to be turning head in OTAs, so maybe there's some possibility there. But this running back room does not look high for too top heavy for me. Especially with a it's just a lot to ask for Javonte Williams to come back, be a 17-game healthy guy, man. It's a ton, man. So
It just feels to me like they haven't addressed it. They've done They went and signed one running back, which they had to get somebody, and they've done nothing to address it other than fix the O line. That they feel that he's going to be back.
Yeah, and I'll hit Kenny real quick. He says I don't play him until week 3 or 4. He is only Bronco that sits preseason, in his opinion. So, that being
I
said,
agree.
I'm gonna go back. Oh, go ahead, man.
I agree. He won't play preseason.
Yeah,
He'll be non-contact until whatever the first game in the regular season he plays.
yeah, I agree. But there's something to be said about what you were talking about and what Mike Shanahan was able to do with that offensive line and the multiple running backs that were able to run behind that offensive line that he put together and that scheme that he put together. If Sean Payton is doing something similar to that, then it doesn't matter if it's Samaje Perine. It doesn't matter if it's Javonte Williams. It doesn't matter if it's Jaleel McLaughlin. It doesn't matter if it's Tyler Beatty. It doesn't matter who it is. You know, it could be Tony Jones Jr. Yeah, I all of a sudden I blanked the name, but I don't want to forget any of
Right.
them. So, you know, it could be one of those systems where it doesn't matter who's back there. We're going
And
to
have
be
a true
running the ball.
direction what you're running. Are you wide? Are you power?
Yep.
Unlike last year, we just
We just tried things.
We just
We just tried
This
things.
sounds fun.
This sounds
Yep.
fun. This sounds fun. Push forward, guys. We'll run.
Yep.
Scott Kennedy, Roy's coming in and saying Scott Kennedy says it best: hamstring injuries after a knee injury. I believe it for sure. So Scott Kennedy is a firm believer that a hamstring comes right behind a knee injury. Maybe we'll, obviously we were talking a little bit about the great Adrian Peterson earlier. That guy had a knee injury and never turned back, man. He just kept on running for, I don't know, seemed like 2 decades after that injury. So, guy was invincible, and some guys are just like that. Let's hope that's not the case, Roy. Let's hope Javonte comes back. He's healthy.
Let's all hope Russ
No
sheds
setback.
some of that Wolverine blood.
Yeah, that Wolverine blood that Russ has. All right, buddy. Before we jump over to kind of our last segment, it'll just be kind of a quick wrap up segment. I just want to get your guys' thoughts, get everybody's out there's thoughts in the comments as well, but get Jody's as well. But before we do that, I want to just talk a little bit about Willow Seasonings and Blends, because Willow Seasonings and Blends is our amazing sponsor, guys. Willow Seasonings and Blends is it's a Colorado owned, it's a veteran owned, it's a Denver Bronco. I've already said Denver Bronco owned, but it's not Denver Bronco owned. It's a Denver Bronco fan owned. Willow Seasonings and Sauces Company. Willow Seasonings. You can go over to willowseasonings.com. Threw it up on finally figured it out and got it up on the screen. Willowseasonings.com. Enter the promo code DBR2023. But I'll tell you guys what this is this is an amazing seasoning company that was born out of the idea that he was tired of going to the stores and picking up seasonings that tasted bad. They tasted salty. They didn't have great flavoring. So this guy goes out and he creates not only a seasoning company, a sauce company, but an award-winning seasoning and sauce company, like Blue Ribbon, like going to Kansas City and winning first place. But with their, I think I got it here. If I can just move my mic just a little bit. Right here, buddy. Good old Sweet Heat. Sweet Heat. Sweet Heat. But the Sweet Heat took #1 in the Kansas City barbecue contest, man. And they have many award-winning seasonings and sauces. You go over there, you put in that DBR 2023, save yourself 15%, help out a great Rocky Mountain Sports Network family, because not only are they giving you the great gift of 15%, they're donating $1 for every time you guys go out there and make a purchase on their website to a family that's definitely in need. Unfortunately, it's a family that the husband and the father has been lost, and there's a mother and two kids with another set of twins on the way, guys. So if you want to find yourself some great seasonings and sauces, really enjoy your summer with all these great blends and all these sauces that you can put on all your different meats that come off the barbecue, head on over to willowseasonings.com. And on top of it, guys, help out some people in need. Um, Guys, we're gonna hit this last segment. Like I said, didn't even expect it to go this long. But that being said, um, I thought, hey man, we're down Albert, and for all of you guys that don't know, Albert is out this week. We expect him back next week. Just moving into a new place and doesn't have that internet hookup right now, so he's missing tonight, and we'll miss some Nopper's knowledge, and we'll obviously miss the Dutchie. So I thought it would be really quick, but we dug into some topics, and this next topic, Bud, I just wanted to get your thoughts. We've seen a lot, we've heard a lot, seen a few clips, I guess you could say. Had a few people hit the podium. Had a few media members that had some access and would what they could say, they did say, I guess you could say, because this is a very tight-lipped organization under Sean Payton. There's been a few names that have been sprinkled around. Who do you like that has been participating in OTAs as we're getting to the ends of OTAs here, and we'll be heading into mandatory minicamp, and then it'll be that long stretch towards training camp, bud. But OTAs, man, we had obviously the rookies come in. We had pretty much a pretty good participation from what I understand across the board from just about everybody in the on the staff, but or not on the staff, but on the roster. But a few names stood out. What name stood out to you, buddy?
There's a couple. Drew Sanders, the rookie from Arkansas. I mean, he was making loads of plays in rookie minicamp. And I think that's going to be a steal of a pick for us. And then the other one that I was reading a little bit on today that's been getting a lot of praise is Ben Powers. Can anchor that left side of the line. And Sean Payton was really glowing about him. Great in pass block, great in run block. Can be that anchor that we haven't had on that side for a long time.
Yeah, a couple of good shout outs. Like you said, when it comes to Drew Sanders, it's funny that you mention him because, you said, hey, I think this guy could finally, it could be a big pickup for us, could be a kind of almost an under the radar pickup for us. For years and years, I remember Broncos fans and media alike going out there and saying, we need that linebacker. They need a linebacker. They need that linebacker. And Drew Sanders, man, the way he's impressed early, maybe he's that linebacker, man. Maybe he's that guy. It's funny because that kind of calmed down. That talk kind of calmed down. Maybe it's everything that we had going on with our offense and our head coach and everything else last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, Drew could be huge, man. I think that's a huge.
And that being said, I don't think that was a weak part of this defense last year. I thought Alex Singleton and Josie Jewell played incredible last year. I just think that's another asset that not only can he cover and tackle, he had 9.5 sacks last year at Arkansas. So
yeah,
he can also rush the passer.
Yeah, the guy has, in all the tape that I watched on him, man, he has a real knack for being able to split a seam and get to that runner, get to that quarterback. He's good, man. It'll be exciting to see if he can translate all of that to the NFL. If he can do everything he did at Arkansas in the NFL, watch out, Broncos country. You'll be wearing some Drew Sanders jerseys.
He has traits of Micah Parsons to me. He's not on that level, and I don't want to say that he's there. Because he's not, but I see little things that remind me of Parsons. Can play inside, can play outside, can kind of do it all.
I agree, man. He has a unique skill set. It'll be interesting to see how he stacks up against some of these guys in the run game. As a rookie, being a little bit more undersized, coming from college, right. Can he handle himself in the middle if need be? Can he meet that runner in the hole? Can he meet that blocker in the hole and hold up and take on that block like he needs to? But yeah, I agree, man. From what I see on the other side, so excited, man. So excited.
And I hope they
go ahead,
use him more than just third down coverage because he's a little bit quicker. I hope they, utilize all of his, and I think they will utilize all his skills of he can rush the passer at times. He can do other things as besides just cover.
You know what I'm excited about, man? And I know that I'm gonna just go off segment just for a little bit. I'm excited about what Sean Payton says in saying that it doesn't matter how you get here. You know it. You know, if you show that you're the number one guy, then you're the number one guy.
Yep.
You know, he made an example. About you know running backs. Now he's made an example about wide receivers and how both those positions, guys have coming up from the bottom of the roster and been a starting guy in a New Orleans Saints uniform. So I'm not going to say Drew Sanders doesn't have a chance of being that every down back linebacker for Sean Payton because hey, he doesn't rule that out. There's no pecking order. There's no you earn your stripes in this type of offense. You earn your stripes by what you show on the practice field, and if you're looking good, you're playing on Sunday.
Yep.
Just want to give a shout out to Roy because Roy's saying in there talk about seasonings and sauces. He makes his own taco seasoning, and then he comes back in and says and taco seasoning. No, I just giving you bad time, Roy, but that's awesome, man. I don't make any of my own seasonings. I make maybe a salt and pepper mix. Maybe I make a cinnamon and sugar mix. That's about the extent of my seasoning making. So, congratulations to you, buddy. Kenny just saying, great show, guys. I'm working and I have to run. Hope to see you guys tomorrow night. Go Nuggets. And absolutely go Nuggets, buddy. Thanks for joining the show, Kenny. Really appreciate you joining
Yes, thanks,
in.
Kenny.
It's awesome to see him. Again, anybody who wants to check out, an all sports network, an all sports show, check out the K&K Sports Show. Fantastic stuff going on over there. Search them out on Facebook and YouTube. I know they're on both of those platforms, and they're a riot. They're fun and a great talk show. So I'll hit you with mine, guy. My I guess OTA standout. I was gonna give you Drew Sanders, but unfortunately, someone stole that one. So on to Plan B. Marvin Mims, man. Marvin Mims went out there and he's just looking fantastic by all accounts, man. I didn't realize how tall this guy was, but man, you watch any tape as far as college is concerned, the guy is fantastic, man. He's got speed, he's got separation. If he doesn't get jammed at the line, and that'll be his big thing is how he gets off the line in the NFL. Boy, once he gets past about 5 yards, look out, man. The opportunities are abound, and it sounds like he's doing fantastic when it comes to, OTAs at this point as well. I'm excited for that because, again, we have Tim Patrick that is coming back an injury and maybe as a step behind Javonte, as it doesn't sound like he's taken the field quite to the level as Javonte has at this point. We have Cortland Sutton, who's unfortunately been underwhelming. We have Jerry Jeudy, which a lot of people are laying a lot of things at Jerry Judy's feet, but up until the last 5 games of last year, there wasn't a whole lot of people that were jumping up and down about what Jerry Jeudy was doing for the Denver Broncos either. And it starts to go downhill from there if we start talking about, the KJ Hamlers and the like that down the roster. So Marvin Mims could be in my opinion, an incremental piece to this offense. We never know exactly, again, in a Sean Payton world, if you're looking better, and he used running back and wide receiver as an example of a guy who went from the bottom of the roster to starter because of the way he looked. Don't rule it past Marvin Mims getting a lot of, field time, for 17 games in this Denver Bronco offense, the way he's already shown out in OTAs.
What? I have one other guy. What are your thoughts on Greg Dulcich? They said he's been really impressive. Going to take on this Joker role, whatever that really means. I mean, everyone's making a big deal. He's not a great blocker, but I go back to Jimmy Graham was not a great blocker, and
Yep.
he thrived in this offense. Now it's going to be a little bit different, I think, because it's not going to be as pass happy. But I still think that he has traits of what Jimmy Graham can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jimmy Graham was raw. Wasn't he a basketball player in
He
college?
was 100%. 100%, man. Took a big chance on Jimmy Graham and was one of those first guys, that really led out in the league as far as, that tight end that came from a basketball background, So, um, yeah, what I take from it, I hope he's improved in his blocking because I think he has, because I think he needs to, but I think he has. From reports, he's gotten better in his blocking. And if that's the case, we just don't want to be in a position where it's an Albert O under Nathaniel Hackett situation, to
Yep.
where if Chris Manhertz is on the field, guess what's going to happen? It's going to be a running play. But
Yep.
if Greg Dulcich is on the field, guess what's going to happen? It's going to be, a
Pass.
passing play.
Right.
So
Yep.
it needs to be a balanced offense. Don't get me wrong. You have the ability to have both those guys out there if you want to as well, and play both sides. I guess if that's the case, it'll be really interesting to see how they play it. Hey, he impressed last year in OTAs. He ended up getting injured. He didn't end up being able to really participate in training camp. Came out late into the year, before we really saw him take the field. Got injured again. So for him to be back, for him to be healthy, for him to already be, considered for the quote unquote Joker role by Sean Payton. I said it last year, and boy, did I have to finally bite my lip and take my medicine, I guess you could say. But I kept saying, until Nathaniel Hackett proves me wrong, I'm gonna go with what I'm gonna be supportive of him. Well, I think I can say with a lot more confidence this year,
Yep.
until he proves me wrong, I'm going to agree with what Sean Payton says. And if he's seeing a Joker and Greg Dulcich, I'm kind of excited, man.
Oh, I agree. From what we've seen last year. I mean, he doesn't have to be a Travis Kelsey type blocker, in my opinion. He just
Mm,
needs to be willing to do it and not look foolish out there when he's doing it. Just whiffing or just get pancaked and stuff. He's got to be able to.
Square
He
up.
doesn't have to push guys 5 yards down the field,
Hmm.
square up, and you know. And I think he can do that.
If nothing else, go out there and make a really good effort on a solid chip, man. A really good effort on a solid chip. If nothing else, get that in, right?
Yep.
Well, buddy, we might actually wrap up somewhat on time, just me and you. It's only like 62 minutes, man. So that's pretty dang good. I did want to get your final thoughts, man. Like anything that you have for Denver Bronco Roundup fans out there, Broncos country.
A couple things. Hopefully the Nuggets can rebound tomorrow. I mean, Miami probably played their best game I've seen in a long time.
Hmm.
Shot incredible from 3-point range, and Denver's one missed 3-pointer away from taking it to OT. So I
True.
think they get a little more focused, and the fact that Michael Malone, called them out, which I don't really like, but he called them out, and I think they'll take that to heart. And I think this series gets wrapped up in 5. So I'm
Wow.
excited about that. And then excited about next week's show. I don't know if you'd mentioned it, Chad Jensen
I was
from
going to, but go ahead, man.
Mile High is supposed to be on. I'm excited about that. Dive into some quarterback talk. Russell Wilson. I thought that'd be a good topic because it's you got one side of the fence or the other. There's not a lot of common ground on Russ
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason. You can't be Walter Payton Man of the Year and do the kind of things Russ. I've never seen anybody, the kind of guy Russ is off the field, get so much hate on the field. I just
Yep, he gets it, buddy. He gets it, and maybe you'll get a little bit next week. It'll be an interesting show, man.
and yeah, I'm just ready. I don't want to rush summer because winter sucked here this year, but I'm excited for football. My college team, Notre Dame, is supposed to be really good this year, and I think Denver's going to impress a lot of people. I think me and Kurt from the K&K show have been beating that drum for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Russell's 2020 Russ.
Yeah, it's a good thing I don't have a Kurt book for next week's show. That would be a disaster. I think I don't know if I'd want to have all of us on the screen at the same time. Let's just put it that way. So, um, do have Patrick John Lopez jumping in and says, "Hey guys, love the show. I know it's wrapping up tonight, but would love to hear predictions on edge depth. Edge depth sometime. Does Benito beef up and become a contributor? Go Broncos and Buckham." So, hashtag Buckham. Sorry, go Broncos. Hashtag Buckham. Well, let's answer part of that, man. Do you think Nick Benito makes that jump this year? Do you think Nick Benito? What's your projection for Nick Benito this year for our good friend here, Mr. Patrick?
Oh, I think he has to. You can't expect Randy Gregory to play 17 games. He's never done it. And he was a second round pick, Denver's first pick last year. There were other positions in need that I think they could have addressed more, and they went and got Benito. So yeah, he's got to step up and kind of take that Shaq Barrett role of like 2015.
There's only a few rooms, Patrick, that are so chock full that I think it's going to breed out some amazing competition, and it'll be interesting to see who rises to the top. The edge rusher room is one of those rooms. The edge rusher room has a lot of faces in that room, a lot of faces that need to prove out, a lot of guys that you'd like to see step up. Nick Benito is that second round pick. He has all the ability to be that guy off the edge as far as the speed is concerned. What he needs to be able to do is be able to set it. So, as you said, does he beef up and become a big contributor? I think he will become a much larger contributor than what we saw last year. I do think that the way that Sean Payton has set up this offseason program is breeding a different looking Bronco player. And I think we saw it in Russ, and I think you can see it through a few other players. Even if you look at a Mike McGlinchey underneath San Francisco versus the way he looked when he took the podium, these guys are transforming, guys. And a Nick Benito with a little bit of weight and being able to set that edge would be scary because that's what he needs, and that's what would be possibly put him over the top. So I'm not going to go as far as being a key piece, like we look back and we're like, Nick Benito is what made this defense, but I think he'll be a part of this defense. I think he'll be definitely a part of this defense where, quite honestly, last year, I was looking to try to find him on the field because he didn't show up and didn't show up with anything good when he did. Unfortunately, if I did notice him, it was usually in a bad scenario rather than a good scenario.
He needs to be more than situational third down, just going after the quarterback. He needs to. I mean, he was a second round pick for a reason, and he needs to show that he can not only rush the passer but stop the run as well.
Agree, man. Agree. I just want to say thanks, Patrick, man. That was a really good question. I appreciate you posing that to us. And Roy's just saying, going back to that Dulcich comment, he says, chip lock is all. Yeah, that's all you need, buddy. That's all you need. Final thoughts for me, like I said, kind of, Jody was like the leaker of all secrets and all wrap-up of knowledge, man. So for those of you who didn't catch it, yes, next week we have Chad Jensen of the Mile High Huddle coming on. Most people know him as probably the main host over there. He's going to drop by. He's going to talk a little Broncos with us. We got the quarterback room lined up, which of course is headed by Russell Wilson. Also brought in Jarrett Stidham, and we'll see how that stacks up. I'm on the AFC. Get Chad's opinion on that as well. So, yeah, that's exciting news to have a little bit of a special guest. So, tune in next week. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate everyone who came in tonight. Kenny, we had Roy, we had Patrick, our new guy that just came in. So thank you very much. We had Leanna that was in earlier. JC Weaver dropped in for a little bit. So really, guys, appreciate everyone jumping in here, supporting me and Jody as we rode without Albert tonight. Great show, Jody. Appreciate it very much.
Yes, thank you guys. It was a good show.
We're looking forward to next week. Like you said, should be the exact same time, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Denver Bronco Roundup. We're bringing you all the Denver Bronco news, notes, rumors, and next week we'll be coming in with Chad Jensen. Until next time, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much, and a little mile high salute. We're going to get out of here. Have a good night.
Go
everyone.
Nuggets.
Go Nuggets.